Hi, I'm Simon from the Red Room, and today we're going to go out and about with this beast, the Bronica GS1, which is a 6x7 medium format camera. The actual size of the negative is, as you can see, very large. It's 6 centimeters by 7 centimeters. And really does yield fantastic results. And today we're going to shoot on Ilford Ortho 80 Plus from Ilford, which is a orthochromatic film, so it's not sensitive to red light. So you can actually load this film under red light in the darkroom if you wanted. I generally just still use either a changing bag or switch the lights off and load it. And also we're going to be using the Gossen Luna 6 meter, which is a fantastic light meter, and it does instant light meter reading with a dome on, and also reflected light meter reading, and is a very accurate meter. And I've used one of these for years. So very, very good piece of kit. So without further ado, let's take a walk in the park. Open the back up, release that tab. This is different. This is a Bronica GS1 6.7. Slightly, still sort of similar on a Hasselblad. And then you plonk it in. You wind that around like that, so that you see what's going on. You put the film in there, and you wind it in until you see the arrow line up with the arrow there. There's a little red arrow there, you can see that there. See the red arrow there? And you plonk it in, and you wind on. And you also need to put the little reminder of what film you got in the camera. Plonks it in there to tell you what film is in there. And seeing as this Bronica has an auto aperture setting, it actually speaks to the back. So what you can do, you can actually set the ISO here, and as we're using Ortho 80, I'll set it to 80 ISO. It says ASA here as well, which is what it used to be back in the day. So we have Ilford Ortho Plus 80, set the back of the camera on the film back to 80 ISO, and we're ready to go. So here we have on the dial there, the black dial is your shutter speeds, and on the silver dial there you've got your f-stops. And if you press the red button on the side, you'll take a instant light meter reading, and then we can zero the needle, and then you'll get the correct exposure. So we have sort of 5, 6.5 at 30th of a second, 15th of a second at f8.5, 8th of a second at f11.5, 60th of a second f4.5. So as we're on a tripod, we'll set the camera to 30th of a second at f5.6.5, and we set our ISO here to 80 ISO. So now I'm going to set the shutter speed to 30th of a second, and I'm going to set the aperture to f5.6.5, which is that. So we'll focus here now, get everything nice and sharp, do an exposure. Hi, now we're back from the walk in the park, and it's time to unload the film from the Bronica GS1 and load it into the developing tank. This is a Paterson Super System 4 film developing tank, and we do have actually older ones in the darkroom which are still very functional. But this is a very nice design and a bit of a classic design really. And this is the reel that the film is going to go onto. The actual reel can be 35mm, or you can load it so it's 120. So it does two sizes of film. And so what we're going to do now is take the Bronica GS1. On the GS1, you can take the film back off. It's a system where, back in the day when we were shooting in the studio, or so in the 80s and late 80s and 90s when I was shooting film, clients would want maybe a colour negative film and a transparency film, or a black and white film and a transparency film. So when you're set up, if you had a camera which didn't have a removable back, you'd have to go through the whole film and swap it out that way. Whereas with a removable back, you can just swap. You can put black and white film or colour negative film in one back, or all three types of film, and transparency film, the E6 process, another back, and you just swap the backs out. And obviously you'd be doing Polaroids in between as well. But that is what this is. So basically, what we're going to do now is take the film. I've wound the film through the camera, and we're going to take the film and take it out the back. It's a very simple process. So you take the these two arrows here, and you have the film. Now the film starts white and there, obviously unexposed, and then goes to this black paper on the when it's exposed. So I'll just take it out, lift the lid, take it out, put the film back, and so what you'll find is you'll have, it says exposed on the, tells you what the film is, and then it's exposed. So what you have to do now is you just take the leader under, and then you lick the film tab, which used to have we used to be minty. This is not minty anyway. So take the tab and you just wind it around, and then your film is nice and safe, ready to go in the drum. So without further ado, we'll go in the darkroom and we'll process it and see what we get. So here we are in the darkroom. This is the part which has got a, it goes black, and we can load the films onto the reel. So we have the film, which we took out the camera. We have a Paterson reel, which is set up for the 120 width. We have the center spool, where the liquid goes down and seals the light in. Then we have the lid, which is the final seal for light, which actually goes in the drum and locks in place, which is that. And then we have the drum itself, the Paterson drum. And then we have the lid for the Paterson drum, which seals in the liquid when you do the inversion. So we'll now load the film. So now I've loaded the film into the Paterson drum, and 120 film has a paper backing, and what you're left with is that paper backing. So it leaves you with the spool that you wound on with in the beginning, and then the paper that was backing the film. And the paper is then, the film is actually attached to the paper by a strip of tape. And then the paper acts as a conduit to go through the camera. So, now on to processing. Okay, so now we've come from loading the film, and we're now in the darkroom sink area. And here we have some filtered water. You need to have filtered water because otherwise there's salt residues that could mark the film and they won't come off it. So you need to have filtered water to make it be developer. And here I have 400 mils of water at 20.2 degrees C. We want to be at 20 degrees roughly. And then I'm going to, as we're using ID11 for everything we're doing, ID11, you can mix 1 to 1, 1 plus 3. I think you can even mix 1 plus 10, but the dev times go up. So we're going to mix it 1 plus 3 for this. So now we have 600 mils of ID11 mixed to 1 plus 3 in dilution. So next stage now is the processing of the film. And I've already made up, I have a batch of film stop, which I put in the concertina jars to expel all the air. And I have some film fix, which has already been mixed up. So you can use that. There's an indicator, a blue indicator in the film fix, tells you when it's gone off anyway. And anyway, you could see if the film hasn't been fixed because the emulsion will be cloudy. And you can always refix to fix that problem. So yeah, so next part is actual developing the film. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're using the massive dev chart, which you can download from the App Store, which gives you all the combinations of film stocks and developers on the market. So I have now set up this to be on Ortho Plus and ID11, and it's giving me a dev time at 20 degrees C at 1 plus 3 dilution of 16 minutes. So without further ado, what we're going to do, we're going to take our developer and then we pour the developer into the tank, and then we'll start the inversion on the massive dev chart. So here we go, one last check of developer temperature. And we're good to go. 20.2 degrees centigrade. So, and the ambient temperature is about 20 degrees. So everything will stay nice and stable and we'll be good to go. So here we go. Big reveal. So you start pouring the dev in, and then we'll start the timer once you've poured all the developer in. Start. And you expel the air from there, and then you start your inversion. And for the first minute, you invert. So now we start pouring the developer away at the 16-minute mark. And now we pour in the stop bath. Evacuate the air, press continue, and now we continuously invert for the next minute. Now empty away the stop bath back into the concertina bottle. That's the stop done. Now we're going to pour in the fix. Lid back on. Press continue. And invert for the first minute. So now we've fixed the film, so we're going to pour the fix back into its container. Now what we're going to do is put the film in running water for 10 minutes. The first thing I do is just rinse off the top here, because the water comes out the sides here. So to sort of give this part in the center a rinse is a good idea. Just get rid of, so I can just pour it out. And then that goes in there. And now it will wash for 10 minutes. Okay, so now I'm going to stop the wash water and take out hose. And now we can just literally undo the top here. And in here, I'm just going to literally drop a bit of Ilford wetting agent. And what you'll find is it gets all soapy in. So you do that for about a minute or so, you know, about 30 seconds, a minute. And there we have a developed film. It's not the exciting part, we can have a look at it. And those legs look lovely. Excellent. I generally like to use my fingers to just wipe off the negs, because I think my skin's softer than the squeegee things I use. But anyway, great. So now we'll put these in the dryer. Just let that hang in there, and usually takes about we've got it's 80 degrees Celsius, Fahrenheit, and usually about sort of 25-30 minutes, and the film's nice and dry, and then we can look at the negs. So, as you can see, I've put the negs in the neg bag and they're ready to go in the binder for safe storage. And in the binder, I generally make a little index of what's in the binder so we can see what we've shot without having to go through every neg and look at it. But yeah, so that's all done now. So, for our next video, we're going to be in the darkroom again, but this time printing. And we've been printing on the Ilford Multigrade enlarger. And I'll go through what different grades look like on a print, on a final print. And also the process of dodging and burning, which is always good fun, and the actual emergence of an image. So anyway, thanks for watching our first YouTube video. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell icon so you can get notification of that video coming up in the darkroom. And yes, we'll see you soon. Take care.